Sweat is wonderful. Sweat occurs not only when you're sexually excited, you know all about that, but when you're afraid, when you're anxious to please, when you're in new and strange situations. Sweat is a gateway. I have lists of things that trigger me as a writer. Everyone has to invent their own effective exercises to open the gate and start work. It is always useful to have a recognizable goal. And sometimes just the word sweat. One of the things that is the glory of our writing community is that I can say one word or one sentence to a room full of people, and each of you will go to a different direction with that prompt. And all directions are valid, and of course all are pitiful. First draft is always pitiful. Learning to accept first draft is one of the building blocks of becoming a successful writer. And success, I mean writing more, pushing yourself more, accepting what you're doing. I need a volunteer. Stand up, baby. The rule is this, say your name.
Smarian?
Mary, would you read us what you got?
Yes. When I loved you, your sweat was my drug. I begged you not to wash. I buried my nose in the silken hair of your armpits. I smell your puppy breath and the musk from the back of your neck. I could not get enough. It made me want to rub and smell and rub, like you were a scratch and sniff sticker. But after you betrayed me, I realized that you reek. You're covered in bacteria, emitting wavelengths of garbage. You're shrouded in a robe of stink lines, threatening me like serrated arrows. It increases my craving for distance. I no longer want to kiss you in the morning or lay my head in the crook of your arm.
Do we have the same amount of time?
I have noticed that some people do in fact go over or stretch their sentences with commas and colons and dashes, in dashes, all those devices that writers use to break the rules and go further. I used to people break rules. Now let's talk about what she actually read. What words stayed with you? Bigger, bad, talk bigger.
Lou, serrated arrows.
That was strong. I got caught with puppy.
Puppy
Yeah.
breath,
Yeah.
yeah.
Puppy breath, great.
Reek.
Yeah, reek
was great.
And I like ending on armpit.
Yeah.
I would, of course, be it myself, tighten considerably. And, you know, I always believe that first drafts can always be cut by a third to improve them. Because what you want to get there and grab. And sometimes we meander in getting there. But this is strong stuff. Betrayal is an inherent experience in the aging process, let me just tell you. And developing some muscle, not just in surviving betrayal, but in putting it on the page in a way that is interesting. Because let's be clear, nothing is more tedious than listening to people talk about their lost loves. She was so good to me, I don't know what happened. I hate whiny voice, that's not whiny. That's a confronting voice, I believe in confronting voices. I need another volunteer. Stand up, lady. Say your name.
I'm Amy.
I'm Amy.
Sweat stink, like last night's gin, and a metallic taste, like an aged bolt or lug nut, or some cold and masculine object that seems necessary, but its use cannot be placed. Sometimes it's mixed with the faint scent of vetiver, an herbal aroma meant to produce calm, but instead invites lust, and wets below the waist because it's she who wears it. Sometimes it stinks of coconut, your most hated fruit, but you understand what it is and hold a quiet respect for it because of everything you know and don't know about what it means in a world and culture much, much larger than yourself. Sometimes it's scent of slight game, not quite the sea as so many lazily refer, but sweet and salty like ripe watermelon salted on a July day.
All right. Now at this part, we're going to have you people respond. The words that stayed with you?
The last sentence was salt and watermelon.
It's a great image.
Shaded fruit.
Pretty strong, yeah.
Old bolt or lug nut.
Yeah, that lug nut. I'm kind of fond of lug nuts. It's a suggestive image, but that opening needs some tightening and work. Because the word lug nut actually interrupted my following what happened afterward. So sometimes strong words are a problem. And again, that's a hell of a lot for 8 sentences. Must be that we're in the South and people write longer. What is it you want most for people to feel once they read or hear this?
This specific passage?
Yes, this specific passage.
I don't have an answer to that, and that's probably why it's not as tight as it could be, or should be.
Yeah.
I
It's
just
hard.
kind of went with sense memory.
Sense memory is always strong, always good. Second look is when you look to see, what was I aiming for? What did I accomplish? But sometimes when we're going through the gate to writing, opening the door, starting, we don't know where we're going. And it is the accumulation of sentences on the page, images, strong words, some meandering, some realization that takes us to the place where we can see what it is we can do, even if we don't know what we were aiming to do. The educational process in writing is relentless. There's a gentleman in the back next to the gentleman with the hat. Would you stand up and read for us, sir?
Sure, if I don't screw this up here.
Make it up if you do.
The specific stink of sweat. Sour rising up to a sail. Sour that doesn't care about offending. Sour that's acid and musk that cannot and will not be ignored. Sour that lays on the tongue, wriggling around saying, I am here, I will be noticed, I will be seen, felt, and least of all, the very least of all, smelt.
One of my rules, I've got it on a piece of paper up on the wall, is that the beginning of all great narrative is in bad poetry. Encouraged to write bad poetry, which means, and I use bad poetry as one word, which is to write poetry that takes risks, that collects images, that builds to a realization or a crescendo, is in fact a gateway. And I believe that that's strong enough that you may want to do more with it. What are the strong words you remember, children?
Wriggling.
Yeah. Yeah. Does it provoke any question in you? Do you want to like grab the writer and ask something? I'm introducing to you a concept. At our best, what we want to do, and I tell you this in all humility, is catch an audience. Now, sometimes we do write to, well, no, not sometimes, all times we want to write to seduce. We want people to realize our genius. I'm not saying this in any funny or trite way. We really want to write genius. We want to write words strong enough that people cannot turn away. And that means we want to provoke an emotional response. There is an enormous strength in acknowledging to yourself the response you want to provoke. Sometimes we want them to love us. Sometimes we want them to hate us for the things that we love about ourselves, because that actually encourages our own strength. More complicated, far more complicated, is to put something risky into specific words that we can be held accountable for. And stink is a great way to go in. I think my immediate response to your sour poem is actually a full engagement. Because I do believe that you want to seduce. You want to pull in people who hear it. But I do believe that behind that there is somewhere specific that you were aiming at. And that always strengthens the work. The hard part is that sometimes it's hard to admit who we're aiming at. Let me just say that crazy ex-lovers are a gift. Mean sons of bitches are a gift. They are a gift to the writer in terms of a target. And in fact, it doesn't matter if that specific crazy ex-lover ever hears the poem or reads the story or knows we did it, but the entire world of people who will hear or read our work will know. Will know. You once had a crazy ex-lover about whom you were put on the page. Very powerful language. I need another volunteer. Hand went up, red shirt, stand up.
Thank you. My name is John.
John.
Sweat was gun oil before there was gun oil. The stink of it is the stink when I was 12 and learned to clean my first rifle. The stink of it was the stink when I was 13 and learned to change the oil on my father's truck. The stink of it was the stink when I was 14 and used baby oil with iodine to protect my first girl's back from the sun. The stink of it was when I was 15 and smelt the cannabis oil. The stink of it was the stink when I was 16 and the man coated his dick with sweat and saliva before I was fucked for the first time. The stink of it was the stink when my dying boyfriend's sweat mixed with blood and there was no difference. The stink of it was the holy water I will receive on my forehead when it's my time.
Speak, God, what do you think? Really strong.
The sweat of blood and the epileptic.
I felt like every line was specific and held me, like I heard every voice of the line. And the chronology was an easy one for me because he was already laying out his age, so it wasn't hard for me to follow.
From the gun oil to the oil at the end of his life.
Sometimes the angel touches us. That is glory and grace in 8 sentences. Very powerful. Very strong. That's what you want. You want grace to descend like dew off of. We're not walking this morning. There's a lot of fucking dew in the first quarter. The moisture comes down. It's a little scary. It smells bad. But you want to be coated in glory. You know this. It's what we're writing for. It's what we're reaching for. It's not just revenge, although I honor revenge. Revenge is a noble motive sometimes. It is the accomplishment of reaching in and touching the heart of other people, which by some amazing magic opens our heart as well. Sometimes doing writing exercises, pushing yourself to take a form. I mean, that's a ladder he has there, writing from that first gun oil all the way up to death. That's a ladder that you accomplish in language, and we climb it with him. To make that happen is glory. It always helps to have that kind of a structure, to follow a ladder or a trail or markers in the dust, to have a system that pulls language out of you, that creates the next sentence and the next sentence, and you're reaching. You know this. Maybe you don't know this. Look, there is no limit on the use of other people's writing exercises. There is no law against stealing all those exercises and doing them for yourself. Everything that you create will be unique to yourself. I myself have a constant exercise in which I pull off my favorite poets. I pull off Sharon Olds, or I pull off Mary Oliver, or I snatch up Muriel Rukeyser. Muriel always works for me. And I let it fall open like the Bible when you're just looking for a verse from God, and I take a sentence out of that poet, and I put it on a clean sheet of paper, because I'm still that old-fashioned bitch that uses paper and pen. And I write 8 sentences. Following the trail that she has staked out for me. You don't know where you're going to go. Every time it's a gift, okay? Sometimes you fall on your knees. Get up, open the book, start again. But sometimes that means that what you actually wrote the first time was stronger than you could handle at the moment. Keep it. Keep everything. I need one more volunteer. Yes, ma'am. Let's let you talk.
The specific stink of sweat. Are you asking me to define my fear, Dorothy? Why should anyone but me get to look at my fear? What do I fear? There's a taboo. It's not sweat. It's not hot. The taboo is some fear of going deep into my imagination where others cannot follow. It's admitting to myself that I live in a place of spirit outside the body where magic happens. It's worry more than fear, more than sweat, that others won't be able to see me if I shape-shift so completely. I want to break through this reality, gravity, and show that it is in fact another dimension. It's not magical realism, but the multi-spirited inner place and conversation I have always inhabited. It's still secret somewhat and hidden to myself, therefore to others. A babble of voices I know wait to shout their stories.
Respond, come on children, this is an engagement. Babble, babble, great.
Fear.
Fear. I like being named in your and I don't mind at all being a totemic figure whom you can have name this. It does make me want to go sit you down, pour you a drink and talk. Although I don't think so.
Is that a good thing though?
Actually, it is. It is. It's always dangerous. But to challenge our totemic figures and say, that's not me, I do this. That's wonderful. It's always shocking to me that people think that I won't actually love that. But, you know from being fucked right, sometimes what you didn't think you wanted is actually what you needed. Come on, think. Link back into your long history, children. Surely somebody here has been fucked right at least once. I go there because that's one of the triggers that we can use to sometimes look at more complex emotional, spiritual concepts. And I do believe you're reaching for a complex emotional, spiritual concept. Does it reach you? Do you identify with her words?
Yeah. I like that she's talking about something so innately difficult for any of us to look at and fear, and like right from the beginning it's kind of like, fuck you, this is my fear, like who do you think you are to even approach me in my fear?
The taboo part left me wondering, and I want to hear more about what the specifics, or not specifics, but more of a description.
I lost one word in what you were saying.
Oh,
Taboo part?
The taboo part?
Taboo, okay. But the taboo is the powerful place we need to aim at. It is in, the places where we are disdained are the places where we can actually engage our own resistance, name ourselves. And let's go back to early feminism. Grab hold of our power and stand in that power and be ourselves. And let me be frank, it is enormously useful to have people to whom we're saying, you're not talking to me. Me, I live over here. These are my issues. This is where my sweat comes from. But that's exactly what I want to hear. That's exactly what your audience wants. And you know, in your deepest place, that you genuinely want a world, a spiritual world in which we can all engage on this level. We can touch each other heart to heart. This shit is tricky. This shit is complicated. Sometimes our own motives are more and more complicated even than we can acknowledge in the moment. The glory of living to be 70 is that you see how over time your perceptions change. And the things that you were most afraid of when you were 24, fuck me, at 46 seem laughable. Then again at 69, remembering being 24, registering that child, that hungry, desperate child who was trying to make herself over in the language, who was trying to create a version of her own spiritual life, of her own soul. It could almost break your heart. Except that the glory of it is that sometimes we actually get it right. young gay men who decided to try one more time to love somebody. Because they saw themselves in a character I put in the story. And yeah, the one I put in the story was a girl, but deep inside, they have a girl soul. And I got goodbye letters from people dying. I've been getting those for a long time. Goodbye letters. Pick up your pen, pull up your media. First line is, "This is what I meant to do." First line is, "This is what I meant to do." 4 sentences. You're not gonna get as long. Go. All right. 4 sentences, come on, you're writers. Kick it out in no time. I have to sit down on my knees for the most important thing I have learned about being 69, try the fuck not to fall. All right. Somebody tell me what they meant to do. Stand up. Somebody. You. Come on. Connie Tuttle.
Hi, I'm Connie.
I meant to be strong enough to be left still alive. I meant to live like I wasn't afraid to fail. I meant to be who I thought I was before I discovered I wasn't. I meant not to just do right, but to do it well, and to do it very, very well.
Need 4 more. Come on, each one in order. Go up, sir. Hand in the air.
Lou, this is what I meant to do. I was certain I could do it. I picked up my pen and looked at you. You turned and smiled and said, "Come back to bed."
Come on, son. You stand up.
Thomas,
Thomas, sorry.
this is what I meant to do, to live long enough to write. I meant to reach you by penetrating your anger and my anger. I meant to reach you before you died. I meant to not care about things, your things, stuff, garbage, valuables. I meant to let go of meaning.
Yes, ma'am.
I meant to give you hope. I wanted to help you heal. Instead, I only drew you further into your wounds. That is the irony of helping.
I need another one. Come on, stand up. It's 3 sentences, but they're very long, and then
I'll go with you.
Okay. This is what I meant to do. Pull a rose garden into a bouquet Tell you I love you, please don't go. Hold you so hard you felt my love inside your bones. Put aside the rage and blame and fear to tell you, don't go into the garage. Don't turn on the car. Don't turn on the ignition. Don't breathe it all in. Don't breathe the black air deep into your lungs. I meant to make you want to live. I meant to see you, all of you, before you died.
Anyway, sir, Sandy.
I'm Greg. This is what I meant to do. I meant to say I love you. I meant to open my heart. I meant to look in your eyes, but the elevator door opened and you got off.
The lady up front, you want?
Jane, I meant to walk away when you ignored my pain. I meant to go to my own people and to greet those coming a step behind. I meant to stop contradicting and explaining. I meant to go my own way.
You know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the one that is nervous but really wants to stand up. One more chance. Come on up.
This is what I meant to do. Hold your hand as you slip quietly away. Sometimes I think I should go first, be the one to invite you in.
Do you hear what you're doing? Do you hear the tribe you are a member of? You are, you know. You poor sons of bitches. Poor, driven, desperate, talented, aching, wannabe. I'm not even sure what you wanna be. I know the small goals, I know. You want to meet Neil Gaiman, I know. You want to stand next. You want to stand next to
Dorothy Allison.
not that that's that hard, but still. You want to break people's hearts. You want to see them in your grief. You want them to see how you stubbornly survive. The goal of writing is to put yourself in the world. Yes, it's an imagined world. But it is the imagined world that we all live in all the time. Who the fuck wants to live in Trump's America? I myself am reading constantly just to stay sane. And I'm writing constantly, just to make a version of the world I want to exist. And now let me say one more thing. I'm old. I don't know how it happened. I was busy and didn't notice. Possibly this is true for most of you. It's amazing to me how many writer activists show up in New Orleans, people who have spent their lives not just in trying to write, but in trying to make possible writing, to create institutions and communities and religious circles and spiritual engagements, to actually put in the world a version of the world you want to live in. You know this, we look at it constantly. I don't yet know a writer who lives in that pristine valley of the mind they told me about when I was 24. Actually, we live in the world, and the world is a constant challenge, disappointment, and, frankly, encouragement. That Episcopalian minister not quite 50 years ago, told me that I was an occasion of sin, has no idea that he has lived with me permanently. That I have made him an icon in the back of my mind, that I write to and against, and sometimes I write to destroy him. Sometimes I actually write to convert him. I'm not sure to what. But to a version in which he and I can actually engage in a world in which we can be genuinely different, and still respect and honor each other. That's one of the things I write for. That and to occasionally get you sexually excited or scare hell out of you. I'm writing a novel that is completely different than anything I've ever written before in my life. And I did a terrible, terrible thing. I stole somebody. I stole my friend that year. And I made him over into a character. And in my creation. He is the lifelong friend of an aging lesbian writer who is, in many ways, her equal. Someone who loves language the way she loves language, someone who has experienced loss, someone who knows he's dying, as she knows she's dying, and who is just perverse enough to give her a gift that will change her utterly and completely. And he knows that he'll never have to answer for it. So while he is a hero, he's a nasty piece of work as well. And I myself love people who are both heroic and nasty. Perhaps because I myself have elements of those aspirations. I want to be just nasty enough. I want to occasionally pass over into too nasty for you to stand, because you'll remember me better if I do that. And that is, of course, one of the keys. I do not want to die. I want to live forever. I want to be making people uncomfortable 300 years from now. Let me just say, this is a worthy goal. I encourage you to engage with that kind of aspiration. I don't care what element you take to engage with the work. I don't care if your aspiration is to shock, or comfort, or heal, or occasionally just to touch, or have heart-to-heart conversation, because for me that is what literature often is. I do not care what prompts you to put words into media and allow me to engage with them. I'm a greedy bitch. I'm lonely, even while I have many, many friends. And that for me is the definition of a writer. There is always a place inside us that is lonely and reaching out. Writing, creating art, is the act of reaching out. What we are hoping for, what we want, what we won't think we are meant to do, what the work is meant to do, that will change. That will always change. It will mirror the culture in which we live. At this moment, in this place, I'm reaching for grace. You know,
Here's your whiskey.
well, actually, I'm only allowed to drink tequila at this point. I developed
That's a lie.
diabetes during my last illness, and they said, "I'll never learn whiskey again, but tequila's all right." I love American medicine. I'm gonna die. You're gonna die. Leave something strong behind. Leave something that will make a difference. Or the fuck, at least try. And if you need a nasty, encouraging goal, if you need somebody to push against, I'm an old dyke. You can't knock me down and keep me there. Send me your worst. Send me your worst that is your best, because I need it. And you know damn well you needed it well. Nobody told me how long I could keep you in this room. It's one of the failures of the Saints and Sinners program, which is they don't ever seem to realize that some of us would just take over, convert
they
you
do,
to our
maybe they do.
particular religion, and you'd be in trouble. So those of you who need to go can go, and anybody else can ask any kind of question. I've been known to say